I am going to give you guys a sneak peek at the new MotoTrax Direct Drive today, also known as the Delta Drive. And I put, about 50 hours, a little over 50 hours last season on it. Figured out a lot of things, little tweaks that needed made. And JP from MotoTrax, awesome. He was really quick to make changes and to fix things as they needed fixed. And really we hammered this thing and put it through its paces. There's gonna be a couple options for the tracks. They'll have their standard track, which is the shorter lugs, the 2.5 in the middle. I think it's 2 1/4 on the outside, kind of the older school like Timbersled style tracks. So you can get it in that track. They'll also have it in their new 3-inch track, more to come on that. Or for an additional amount, you can get the Timbersled Aero 3 track, so like the OG Aero 3 track. It'll be on mine this season as we do some more testing. Lots more to come on this kit, but I just wanted to give you guys a real quick update on it, go through it quickly before the full video is released on it, and show you some cool things about it. 129. Also, you'll notice my track is super loose because we were taking it off and doing some stuff, so pay no mind to that. So this is the new, well, some new stuff on it. Some is a carryover from last year. This is going to have all the new bearing carriers. We got the new side panels. There's a couple other little new tidbits on here, but the final version is going to even have a couple newer things that they have. So there's not going to be many of these available for this season. Can't remember the exact number, but it's going to be very limited. Let's get into it here. You'll see this awesome new shifter here. Just kidding. So we tested this actually out all season last year and it worked great. He actually has an extended shifter. So the first thing you're going to notice, obviously, look how far forward that kit is, and you'll see where the foot pegs are at. Foot peg bracket back there. It is a little bit wider. So that's the first thing you notice, is that it's a little bit wider than your standard kit. Now, I will say, actually, I think we measured it right at about 14 inches. You can see. Let's measure a mountaintop. Here's the new one that's about to get installed. Let's try and do it right there. So the mountaintop all the way from edge to the chain case is about 14 inches, just under 14 inches. Looks like about 13 1/4. And then if you take it all the way out to the bolt, it's about 14 inches there. Obviously, you've got the bolt there, so fairly wider. Let's take this Yeti. We're doing some work on this Yeti here. So Yeti's a little over 15 inches. I don't know what the new one is. The new one, it might be a little bit skinnier, but so about 15 inches. And let's look at the CMX. Okay, so the frame, 13 1/2. And if I go all the way out to the chain case, sorry, not the chain case, the belt drive case, we'll call it a little over 15. So it's really not any wider. It seems like it because of where the foot pegs are mounted. So obviously that's gonna be a little wider. At first it's, you know, a little odd when you first stand on it because it's obviously wider, but that quickly goes away and you don't even notice it. I think the biggest thing is just how far the shifter is from the foot peg. Obviously you can see right there where your foot peg bracket is. And so, you know, roughly your foot peg would be right about here. Actually, that's the foot peg brace. So foot peg would be right about there. So at first that's a little weird, right? It's a little bit further. You can see it's like roughly riding about like that. I mean, it's easy to do, no big deal. Anyways, I got used to that really quickly. Not a big deal at all. Let's see, obviously the direct drive, right? So that's the innovation. That is the new thing that I have not seen done to date, as far as I know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that has not been done. So that is kind of the magic there. That's the big differentiator of this over every other kit on the market. It's one of those things where, just like I feel like with every kit, because every kit is fun, right? We got Yeti, we got MotoTrax, we got Mountaintop, CMX. We ride them all, love them all. I know everyone wants to know, and oh, what's the best kit? Well, they're all different and they all feel different. They ride different. So for me, it really is hard to pick a kit because I'm like, oh, sometimes this one I like it in these conditions, and they're all fun, and they all have their own unique characteristics that I think makes every kit fun and interesting. And so everybody wants to know, which one should I buy? And honestly, I'll say, like, ride them all, see what you think. You determine which one you like, and it's part of the reason why we have them all, is because we like people to try them all and see what you think. All the kits are great, and they really are all just a lot of fun. So back to the direct drive. First thing that you notice about that is the quick spool up and the very instant connection that you feel. And again, riding every other kit, I felt like, I mean, there's no hesitation in any other kit. There's no lag in any other kit. And then I rode a direct drive and I'm like, okay, there is a difference there. Does it perform better, worse, whatever? Well, I can tell you this, and I mean, I think it just kind of goes without saying, there's less rotational mass, right? So you're eliminating the jack shaft, you're eliminating an entire chain, a sprocket, so less rotational mass. Roughly on his kit, that replaces about 4.5 pounds. 4.5 pounds of rotational mass between the chain, the additional sprockets, and jack shaft. I mean, that is significant. The calculations that I did, and again, I could be off, but that equates to roughly 20 to 40 pounds of static mass, okay? That is the first thing that is obviously the biggest difference. Some of the things that we thought was like, oh, is the coupler gonna fail? Show you, can you see that? There's a coupler in there. We were like, oh, is that coupler gonna fail? So he made it out of aluminum, and it didn't fail. That thing has, well, mine has 50 plus hours. His has, I don't even know how many hours he put on his between the 2 years, because this is actually the third season. He had one first season, I had one last year, and then this will be the third full season on it. And we have not destroyed a coupler, and there's a couple other of them that have been floating around and being tested on as well. So that was the first thing we thought, oh, a coupler's gonna get destroyed. The second thing was, you know, just the whole system. Like, how was it gonna hold up? Like, we had some bearing carrier issues a couple times. Mainly it was on mine because I was running a different track and we had a spacer in there, and I think that caused a potential alignment issue, but we fixed that. No issues on the bearing carriers. He addressed an issue where some of those were backing out, and so there's a steel insert on the back side now that those screw into to hold it, so those aren't going to come out anymore. I never broke a chain, never had to adjust the chain at all, so that was cool. Just one less thing to worry about. Once I got the chain on there and got it adjusted to where it needed to be, which it's set it and forget it kind of thing. Similar to kind of how the rail was, I feel like a little bit with the rail, you never had to adjust the secondary chain on it. So that's cool. Really like that. Obviously this doesn't have the graphics. You'll probably notice this piece here. So last season we got to ride the Sidehill Moto pegs, which big shout out to those guys. Those pegs are a game changer. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but those are a game changer. We're going to be riding more of those this season. I rode those last year, and at first I was thinking, oh, you know, cool, you can wheelie, awesome. But as you guys have all seen, you do way more than wheelie on those things. You ride in a new way. You can climb like none else. I mean, it is crazy the lines you can pull by having the weight back and transferring your weight back. You don't have to hold on to the bars as much with your hands, so it's a lot easier to ride the bike and climb. I mean, it's a game changer. Long story short, those are awesome. So JP just decided to incorporate, you know, his own version onto here. So he's just got these brackets on here, and in theory you could even, you know, put them in a different location. Yeah, I mean, they're held on there with 4 bolts. I mean, those things are not going anywhere. These ones you actually thread them in from the back. So yeah, these don't have the steel inserts, but they're going into your foot peg bracket. And then I just threw the C3 pegs on real quick, but I'm going to be putting on some different pegs on there. Obviously you don't have, you know, kind of the Sidehill Moto guys have done with the way that theirs fold back. So that's really cool. You could even buy the Sidehill Moto pegs, just their standard foot pegs, and you could throw them on here. So the direct drive, that's the real innovation here. And you got to try it out, see for yourself. MotoTrax are going to be doing some demo days this season, as will we. So you can come out, you know, try all the kits. This one's still the welded subframe, but he has kind of similar to Mountaintop has their aluminum subframe. Same concept on his new setup as well. So the biggest thing is when you're getting this set up, it has to be perfect, right? Because you have to have the alignment perfect. So he's got all the specs on doing that. So it's really pretty easy. I mean, it really was not hard at all. And then if you don't know much about the rest of the MotoTrax, their whole thing is they have this single shock in there, and you can see how it just kind of pivots there, right there. And then there's an Öhlins air shock in the back. And then this shock is kind of the unique thing where it's just like a dirt bike rear shock, right? It's very unique, very different than anybody else out there. Of course, you've got the one, you know, Yeti one now, which they have the single shock. This one actually has 2 shocks. What's cool about the rear shock there is it's got 2 modes. It's got like a climb and a play mode, and it's an air shock, so you can just add in air to it to make it softer or harder, whatever you want to do there. Yeah, and you can see I've got some wear on mine. This thing's, I mean, essentially that piece right there, I think is 3 seasons now. This one's a little bit beat up. Put a lot of hours on it, and then I'm running the Timbersled Aero 3 track on it as well. Again, let us know any questions, but super cool, and there's going to be another, you know, video on that as well. Okay, now moving up here, he still has their OG ski. He did make some changes on where it mounts now, which made it a lot better. And then he also has some new skags on there. It's kind of hard to see. We got actually the mountaintop wheel kit on it, but JP has his, MotoTrax has their own wheel kit. I didn't get mine yet, but I will have it on here soon. But you can see the mountaintop wheel kit fits on it just fine. And then he has a new billet aluminum spindle. You know, the crazy thing about this setup, I mean, I'll be honest, and I told him this, when I first saw the way this hooked to the forks, the first year I rode on, I'm like, dude, that is gonna break. I'm gonna break it. Just looking at it, I was like, it doesn't look very beefy. Well, I've been riding it 3 seasons now, like 3 full seasons. This will actually be the 4th season on one, and I have yet to break it. I haven't bent anything. It literally just, yeah, I've had 0 issues with this. He had a different spindle before, so I'm excited to run that billet aluminum one. It's just really solid. One thing that we did figure out, him and I, last year when I was riding it, I was getting some play here in the front ski, and it was tilting down real bad, and it was just due to the rubber and the design, and so he fixed that and made it so that now your front ski will sit up more when you're riding. It's flat right now because of the mountaintop ski, but with his wheel kit, it actually looks a little bit more like the CMX and the Yeti, just due to the way that the wheel kits work. Anyhow, that's cool. He fixed that, changed that, much better. This ski, I mean, you know, they've had this ski out for a while, and obviously Mountaintop is now making a 9.5-inch ski. I think overall, like the specs, it was only like 44 square inches, which actually sounds like a lot, but I can't remember. It wasn't that much in terms of how much surface area there is for this ski over the normal like 11.25-inch mountaintop Timbersled ski. But what you do notice is obviously it is a little bit skinnier, so you know, you're not going to necessarily have that flotation that you would with a wider ski. We haven't had too much of an issue really. There's definitely those days where you wish you had a little bit wider ski, but now with the design of this and how it rides, and you twist the throttle and that front ski just wants to get up off the ground, it rides really light on the front. In terms of just the overall like design of the spindle and stuff, it's actually really unique because if you look, you get the full travel on your forks because there is no fork clamps, right? It has this unique design on the bottom there where this part just sits on the bottom of your forks. You clamp that there into your the brake mount, hooks on the fork there to keep everything nice and tight, and 0 issues with that. So it freaking works. I was skeptical at first. 3 seasons later, no issues. Oh, and then we figured out pretty quickly needed these foot peg braces to keep that from flexing. It was actually fine, but we just noticed, especially in some extreme like stopping, pulling on the brake, you would see it flex a little, and so obviously over time we knew that would probably cause some issues. So he made some foot peg braces. This one's actually missing one because he just made some new ones that are really cool. They're anodized and really nice aluminum, so I got to put those on. Cool thing too, like if you look, the MotoTrax, they've had this narrow tapered tunnel for a long time. I think longer than anybody else actually. Like this is kind of just they've had this for you know, since it started as far as I know. Oh, he does have this new knurled handle. I mean, I will be honest, I like this. It just gives you something big and beefy to grab onto. I really like the big wide handle. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Hit up JP, of course, from MotoTrax. But yeah, we're just real excited to be riding that. And then he is going to be coming out with a 120 3-inch. So stay tuned. We'll be riding one of those. So it'll be a 120 with 3-inch paddles. That's going to be their track on it as of now, as far as I know. And that's going to be cool. I'm excited for a 3-inch 120. I'll kind of get into the suspension real quick, but he's just got, you know, grease zerks everywhere. We have some wear right here because that was from the previous year, which, yeah, this thing is freaking held up. But anyways, I had a limiter strap on there doing some testing and it just kind of wore it out a little bit, but sweet kit, rides very well. You can see there, the Delta 129, the Direct Drive Delta. Really, it's just Delta, but you know, Direct Drive, DD. Yeah, it's sweet, guys. I think everybody's gonna really like it. It's a fun kit to ride. Oh, these holes were just for some different mounting options we were looking at, possibly with the foot pegs there, and then some other stuff that we kind of had on my kit. If you have any questions, hit us up. Look forward to riding with you guys, seeing more people out there, and getting more people into the sport, man. Check it out. See you guys. Take care.